Hello, So Very Easy. My name is Laura, and we're all using these cloth shopping bags now, and that's great, and it's great for the environment. However, sometimes we have too many now. So let's take two of them and turn them into an apron. The patterns on the front are a lot of fun to use, and they're very easy to change into a bibbed apron. So there are a few different styles of these bags. This one has one seam. It's a very straight back, and the one we probably have the most of. And it has that one seam along the bottom. And it's a lightweight canvas. And sometimes they will have a side seam. And then there are bags that have more of that square bottom and the gussets along the sides. This particular style has no seam along the bottom. I do have two of these from the same company. It's a travel company that I like to travel with from Go Ahead Tours. So I'm going to turn these two into that bibbed apron. But it would work the same for any of these types of bags. So to work with these bags, we are going to need to cut them apart. We can take those seams out if we'd like with the seam ripper, or just cut them. And in this case, I am going to cut right along this sewing line. So I will have one large piece and those two side pieces. For something like this bag, we're just going to cut this seam and cut that seam there. So we have that long piece. Once those are taken apart, I want to check one handle. And the handle is going to be the one where this is going to sit around your neck. So you do need to make sure that this is big enough to go around your neck. I find most of them are, but if they're not, you can cut them and add this strap together. But mine is going to be fine, so I will just need to go and remove that strap from the bottom. So I have that one long piece, those sides, and for the second piece, I'm going to take the strap off on both sides. So I've taken all of my pieces apart and have ironed them. When you do iron them, I would recommend ironing them from the back side. A lot of times, these little prints can affect the iron. So just iron from the back. I'm now going to trim these so all the edges are nice and straight and clean. Once this is all cleaned up, we will need to make a decision on that front piece. Now I would recommend from the top here down anywhere between 30 to 31.5 inches. And we can cut off the rest. I now have that other bag front. I want to attach that bag front onto each side. So I'm going to be able to cut this in half, and yours might have a seam here, so you'll be able to trim that down. Along these edges, I'm going to roll over a seam once and then roll it over a second time and stitch. So I'm going to do those two long sides, and I'm not doing the bottom. So I have that length done. Now I need to figure out the width. My bag did end up being about 18.5 inches, and that works out quite nicely. But what I want to do is have these two pieces equal 27 inches. And that really is an approximate. So I have 23 inches. I do want to add a little bit. And I'm going to add that little bit in the center with whatever I had left over. So those side panels are going to be perfect for that. This center piece you are not going to see. So if you don't have enough from your bag, you can just use some leftover fabric. So I'm going to sew some pieces together and make sure that's about 27 inches. I have chosen to do my seams facing up. So I've stitched it together. Then I'm going to fold that seam back and top stitch. That way those seams are flat. And when the top of the apron goes over top, you're not going to see those seams, but they're going to be really nice from the back. Before we sew these two pieces together, we're going to finish this back piece. I'm going to do a rolled hem all the way around. So I'm going to be working from the back side. I'm going to roll down once, a second time, and stitch. And I do want to do that for the entire perimeter. So we're going to be looking at those clean seams as we are rolling that over. Now we can put those straps on. My straps are 26 inches, so I will only need 2 of them. But if you need more, you can sew those together. So we can just fold a little piece over, line up to where it's going to go, fold it back, and then do a row of stitching right here just to hold this little corner down. Then we're going to be able to fold that back, and we're going to sew a square with an X in the center. And that is a very, very strong way of putting on those straps. And for the other side, we are just going to be able to just roll that down and stitch right here just to finish that off. We have the underside and the top side of that apron. We're going to stitch this on now. This is going to be stitched along the back. So the right side of that top of the apron and the wrong side of this back piece are going to match. So this is the front and this is the back. Line them up and just stitch this down. And I like to stitch from this side, so I'm going to stitch right over top of that last row. Take this and flip it up, match up those edges, smooth this out. We're going to start here, do a back stitch, stitch down along the bottom and stitch up to the same mark. So we're stitching a U. I'm going to do about 7 inches. Once that bottom portion has been stitched on, we need to secure the top. We're going to do that from the back side. Smooth it out, stitch right along the edge, come down, stitch back, go back up. So we're going to have this double row all the way along, and that's going to give us some good strength. Once that is done, the apron is complete. So we have the ties, the neckband, and a big pocket right down the center. And because we did those seams inside, the back side looks nice as well. So I have 1 strap left over, and that strap could be if you need to make that neckband bigger, or if you need to make the ties bigger. You're going to be able to just sew those together. And in my case, I do have some of those side panels left. Now I chose these 2 bags because number 1, it was a good heavy fabric, and the other one is I had 2 exactly the same and they were fairly new. But you can make this same idea from any 2 bags. You just want to make sure that you have fabric that you can wash, and if they're not the same, it could just add a little bit more of a personality. I love this big apron, and I love that nice big pocket in the front. I hope this gives you an idea on how you can use up your shopping bags. Thank you for joining me today on Sew Very Easy. Feel free to subscribe. I'm on Facebook, Instagram. I have a newsletter. It's all free under Sew Very Easy. And be sure to make every day a Sewtacular day. Bye for now.